Hello beautiful learners, welcome to Slideshow English YouTube channel. Do you have the concept of realism in literature? Do you know what naturalism actually is? And how they are both connected to American literature? If you are interested enough, stay tuned and be relaxed. We are continuing American literature video series, and our today's discussion is all about realism and naturalism in American literature. So for now, let's make English straightforward. In our previous video, we have talked about American Romanticism in great details. We gave you the pinpointed concepts of American Romanticism. Now, if you understood the nature of Romanticism, you will easily get into the realism and naturalism concept. This realism and naturalism movement of American literature started in about 1870 and ended in about 1910. This movement was a kind of reaction to the Romantic movement. Remember what happened in the Romanticism? Authors were giving priority to individualism, personal emotions, freedom, and to this kind of ideological things. Now the question is, what actually happened in the late 19th century that triggers the realist movement? And the trigger was the publication of Origin of Species by Charles Robert Darwin in 24th November 1859. In this groundbreaking book, Darwin described the whole process of evolution. He told that we, all the 7.8 billion people in 2020, literally came from monkeys. Yeah, apes are monkeys, so we all came from monkeys, no doubt. This brilliant man also gave the theory of survival of the fittest. Stop man, this is not a biology class. Okay, listen. Literature is something that can be influenced by anything and everything. So at first, you have to understand the concepts. The famous videos on YouTube only give you informations. But literature is not only about informations to memorize. Believe me or not, you can easily get those informations on Google and Wikipedia. You don't need YouTube at all. So in our channel, we not only give you informations, but also provide you valuable and meaningful concepts. Because without these concepts, you cannot grow in literature. So what we are talking about? We are talking about Charles Darwin's Origin of Species. This book had its own influence on literature. People started to questioning. They questioned about the importance of God. They questioned their own faiths and beliefs. Beside that, Industrial Revolution and various scientific inventions had their impacts on people and literature. People started to believe that nothing is perfect in life. Like my audio quality. They started to disagree the illusion created by romantic writers. America saw the cruelty in Civil War and the difficult life produced by Industrial Revolution. In the Romantic period, they took everything very positively. But as soon as the time passed, America realized that life is not very fair in every way. Authors threw away the over-optimistic filters of Romanticism. Realism was the literary movement that saw the life as it truly was. The major themes of realist writers were the middle class and lower class people, their struggle and the cruelty of society and the harshness of everyday life. The majority of the writings of this time was about the ordinary people and their daily lives. Though naturalism is slightly different from realism, but it also depicted real stories and situations in literature. People understood that imagination is not the same as real life. The realist and naturalist movement in American literature approached the rejection of idealized experience. Now we find some specific characteristics of this time's literature. In America, many great novels were written, and they became more better and more bigger. In that way, writers had the opportunity to express and portray their ideas in much details. They had the scope to describe their concern in details. In this time, one big change in narrative tone occurred too. Many scientific theories influenced the writer's perspective. Authors examined and analyzed the society. They describe it in great details, but do not get too emotionally attached with the character's circumstances. Another big idea of naturalist movement was that the authors believed that we have no control over our destiny. Things just happened to us, and our future will be the result of our environment. If we'll have to fall, no superpower can help us. Beside that, we find pessimism in naturalist writers. There is so much tragic tone in the literature. Environment has a great role in shaping our characters. So if we grow up in bad, uneducated, and unhealthy environment, then we'll never perform well in our life. So the irony is that a criminal's son would also be a criminal. Lol. Anyway, poverty and unhealthy society were also the major themes that we encounter in realist and naturalist literature. We have a great number of characters who came from a poor background, because in this time authors were highly interested in how the environment affects the human nature. Now we have gave you the whole concept of realism and naturalism in American literature in details. Let us talk about the popular authors and their famous works. Stephen Crane was best known for his novel Red Badge of Courage, which has the background of civil war. He also wrote Maggie, a Girl of the Streets, where he depicted the reality of urban life and capitalism. Theodore Dreiser was one of the earliest American writers who embraced naturalism. He depicted the true story of ambition in an American tragedy. His point of interest was the relation between environment and human nature. Henry James was another famous writer. His great works are The American, The Portrait of a Lady, The Wings of the Dove, etc. But Mark Twain, whose original name was Samuel Clemens, was the most popular writer of this period. His famous works include The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Life on the Mississippi, and others. Beside them, Frank Norris, William Dean Howells, Edith Wharton, Jack London, Ellen Glasgow were also famous writers. Now that's it for today's video. Hope you guys learned something. But before ending this video, let me recite William Howells, who said that realism is nothing more and nothing less than the truthful treatment of material. Thanks for watching.